Hi guys and welcome to The Batch Lady. Anybody that doesn't know me, my name is Suzanne Mulholland and usually I talk to you about batch cooking, all things batch cooking, how to save time, all these different things, how to do meal planning, easy recipes, all that sort of thing. But today I'm actually coming to you to chat to you about a lady called, who I'm just going to invite on now, a lady called Laura Ogilvie-Jones, and she is a life and careers coach. So you're going to see the screen in a minute just change into two, and Laura's going to pop up. Here she is. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
So I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Yeah, actually, I'm just going to turn you up a wee bit.
Excellent. I shall do the same. Let me just turn you up.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Right, this is my first time ever doing an Instagram on a double screen, and we've done it. So I love stuff like that. Lots of people are already joining, so just to say a quick hello. So, Laura, lovely to have you doing this with me. Thank you very much.
Not at all. It's lovely to be here.
So for anybody that doesn't know, Laura Ogilvie-Jones is a career and life coach, and she is the owner of LOJ Coaching. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah. Just in case it was called something else, but just in case. I've known Laura for a while now, and actually I thought it would be great to come on, or actually Laura was the one that thought it would be great, but she's right, to come on and chat about basically a bit about what I do and a bit about what you do and how they actually merge quite well together in people's lives. Because I think both of us have very similar clients in that people are busy, working, parents, mums, we're all juggling life, especially at the moment as things change all the time. So for anybody watching this, how it's going to work is I have some questions that I want to ask Laura. And if you want to ask Laura any questions or myself any questions, then send them in and we will answer them as and when they are coming in. So I'm going to chat to you first, Laura, and then you can delve into the batch lady and ask me anything you want.
Brilliant.
Okay, so life coaching. Now, when you are anybody else who is not into sort of life coaching and that, we don't really know what it is. So can you tell me a little bit about your company and then basically what is life and career coaching?
Yeah, absolutely. So I call myself a career and life coach just because I've got a qualification in careers guidance as well as the ICF ACC accreditation. So that's a life coaching qualification as well. So and I work with people, individuals, to help them, I guess mostly when they're stuck, and often they come to me when they're stuck around careers and jobs and professions, just because it's the career and life coach. Yeah. But because as you know, your life is never in nice, neat little compartments. Of course, it just kind of spans out into all areas. So what might look like, okay, I'm just stuck. I don't know. I want to set up a business. I don't know how to do that. Or I'm not getting promoted at work, or I don't like my job, I want to move out of it. But actually, that affects other areas of your life too. So relationships, your finances, health and fitness. So when I work with someone, I work with them holistically. So it's a case of helping them kind of to try and get unstuck from where they are, and then to look forward to what is it you really want. And sometimes I call myself like a thinking partner, because actually sometimes it's about helping someone discover what it is they really want. And sometimes they don't necessarily know what that is or what that looks like.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Or they're afraid to choose it. Sometimes it's like, oh, I don't deserve that. So it's about, and then once they kind of get to that point of, I think this is where I want to be. Okay, well, how are you going to get there? How are you going to bridge that gap and keep that momentum going moving forwards? So, and actually, I'll just now at this point, just quickly describe the difference between mentoring and coaching, because that can get very confusing. And people, I think, sometimes are looking more for a mentor. So a mentor is someone who gives you advice. So tells you, I think you should do this, this, and this. And
I'm a mentor.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm an advice giver.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah. And mentors, they're really useful. And I do offer that as some sessions of career mentoring. So maybe how to sort your CV out, your LinkedIn profile. But actually coaching is very different to that. So coaching is not about giving advice, which can be unnerving sometimes, but it's about reflecting back. So I act as a mirror for someone. So I am basically reflecting back to them, asking them questions. And the idea is the person themselves has everything they need within themselves It's just that they're stuck. They're stuck in their own stories, maybe their own limiting beliefs about what they can and can't do.
So,
and my job as a kind of external is to look at that and challenge that, really. And to help someone.
So many of us will do that. Many of my followers who follow us will do that with our kids. You know, when our kids come to us with a problem, you don't necessarily want to say, do this. You want them to come up with their own solution. So you sort of ask them questions around it, knowing that they probably know the answer that they're going to get to, if you see what I mean. You know, should I go to this person's party, even although I know that they don't like, you know, something like that, a kiddie sort of like question. Fantastic. So I always thought that coaching was just for people that had businesses, but it's really not, is it? It's for anybody. I mean, it's for a stay-at-home mum, it's for somebody who's maybe on maternity leave, for somebody who's just had children flown the nest and they now sort of are trying to work out what they're going to do. It can literally be for anybody. Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah. So there isn't really, I mean, I work with people from anybody from graduates up to people planning their retirements, you know, and actually it's quite interesting because sometimes people come at significant birthdays, so 30, 40, 50, because it's at that point there that you suddenly do what do I do in my life? Is this what I want for the rest of my life? Where am I going? And it gives you that kind of bit of time to just take a bit of a step back. So but that can be for absolutely anybody. And you know, the possibility, it's always about, like I say, that kind of getting stuck in your own stories, really. That's where it can be really helpful to just unpick some of that and take a look at it and say, what is it you really want? You know, and it could be for anybody. It doesn't necessarily, you know, people who are maybe thinking about setting up their own businesses, but they don't even know where to start. And often, like you were just saying with mums, maybe they've got kids who are going to secondary school, and they have just lost some confidence and self-belief, and they're thinking, I don't even know where to start, and I'm not the same person I was, you know, 15, 20 years ago. Who am I now? And then just sort of taking a look back at that. But obviously it could be, again, people maybe who they know, you know, a lot of people think, oh, my career progression or my life should just be nice, neat, linear, boom, boom, boom. This happens, then this happens, then this happens. And it's never like that. And it's about embracing that. But, you know,
actually, that brings me on to your amazing strapline, which is life isn't linear, straight or perfect, but it is exciting. And I love that, actually, because it completely sums up what you do, really, and it sums up life. And I think life at the moment, with everything that's changed with COVID, it definitely lets us see that, you know, it's not always where you think it's going to go. Where did that strapline come from? Was it just the fact that that is how you feel about life?
Yeah, well, both. I mean, I did work with a brand designer to try and articulate. I didn't come up with something nice and succinct like that just on my own. She did actually have to say, I think maybe what you're trying to say is blah, after maybe 10 minutes of talking.
Yeah.
But it was exactly that, about, well, you know, because so many people, you know, have this kind of set, it should be a certain way, or my life should have gone like this. And that word should happen so often. And they're almost, you know, berating the fact that their life's gone like this, you know, well, you know, that's not how I wanted it to be. But actually being able to look at that and think, well, you know what, embracing all the ups and downs and the roundabouts and everything else that's happened in life, you know, that is me, that's who's made me me. And that can be a really positive thing. And actually some of those times, those really difficult down times when it's been extremely challenging, that's when you often grow the most and when you learn most about yourself as well. And some of those tough times can be equally as important as some of the big highs that you have too. So it's about kind of just embracing that, realizing that that is an exciting part of you, makes you unique, and that means you can bring a certain set of skills and talents and abilities to the table, and, you know, whoever it is that you're meeting in life or working with.
Yeah, no, I think you're so right, because I've had those times. And when you're in them, they're not good, you know, and you think, where am I going with this? Especially with Batch Lady, you know, I mean, it's a roller coaster. I want it to be this because it's easier to be this, but no, it's this all the time. And all the down times come at the same time, and all the excitement comes at the same time. So even when you're in the exciting times, it's almost too much as you're trying to juggle all the balls between motherhood and being a good wife and walking the dogs and working and all those sort of things. Brill. So if someone has reached this sort of like crux in their life of, or they're at that stage of thinking, right, I'm going to make a change, where would they start? What should they do?
So, well, it depends. I mean, I'd say the first thing to do is to think about visualize the future. So who is it you want to be in the future? Where do you want to be in the future? What does this future self look like? You might not know the details about it, but you probably know the feelings that you want to have that are attached to that. So I think it's worth spending a bit of time thinking about that. And then maybe actually, well, obviously, if you know exactly what it is that you want to do, then you can do your kind of SMART goals and your actions and, you know, prioritize that. But often people are not at that point of knowing exactly what. It's more that feeling of discontent, and I want to be more fulfilled, I want to be happier, but I'm just not sure. So it's about focusing on well, who is it you want to be? How do you want to feel? Which is different to where you are now. And then maybe like doing, for example, get a big piece of paper, some Sharpies, and just jot out everything in your life, not just your career, your job, your business or whatever, everything that gives you a bit of a buzz or excitement or passion. Just get that down on a piece of paper and start to see if there's patterns emerging. So maybe it might be that you're like a people person and that's what you want to do. You want to kind of work with people, or it could be that you're a problem solver, you know, whatever it is. And then so you get more of an awareness and understanding about yourself first. And then, of course, it's about looking at, well, what are my skills, my abilities, my talents? So maybe making a note down of those. You know, what is it that I can do? What can I bring? What is it that I can't do, but I'd like to gain some skills in? So kind of plugging that gap. And you can obviously do kind of job searches, Indeed and LinkedIn, and look for what employers are looking for and what looks interesting. Sometimes you could do like kind of free things like personality tests, like there's Myers-Briggs and MBTI online, and that's sometimes a bit fun just to kind of see what your skills are and what that could lead to. But there's lots of ways that you can, I think it's that kind of both. It's knowing what's out there and what the possibilities are, but also really, more importantly, knowing more about yourself. And particularly, I think when you're talking about that kind of busy mum thing, like underneath that busyness, who is you? Who are you? Who is the real you? You know, because often we kind of put on these hats and these personas. So it's about trying to get beneath that.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a question. Right. Hold on. Now, let me make sure I can get this. Oh, ladies, have been made redundant after 14 years on the one company and now feel lost. No idea where to go or what to do. It's a timely conversation. This is a timely conversation. I think you're right. Now, you're called Triona Flan, so I'm not actually sure what your name is, so I'm just going to say I think you're completely right that there will be people out there made redundant. There'll be people now out there being told, well, your job is now working from home. And if you're a people person and you love being in an office and that's what gives you the buzz, then it's really going to be tricky that, you know, maybe your home isn't set up that you want to be a working from home person. I know that I now love working from home, but it took someone a few years ago who I met who worked from home to tell me exactly how to do it, because there's actually, you know, there's a set process of working from home, I think. So I go into my office at 10 o'clock in the morning and I don't do housework in between 10 and whatever time, because I know that, no, this has to be my work time. Where at 9 to 10, once I've came back from the school run, I fly about and I do all the things that all you ladies with kids out there probably do, like flush all the loos, you know, sort all the beds, pick up all the dirty laundry. And I sort of run around because I can't really work at home until my house is sort of in some sort of an order. So 10 o'clock is my start of my working day, even though I've been up since 6 and been running about, you know, getting the kids ready and all of that sort of stuff. Do you think, so what advice would you give to Triona Flan?
Well, I mean, you know, as you know from the news, that there are so many people in this position and people who are going to be finishing their furlough soon, and just that unknown quantity of being made redundant, restructuring, furlough. And there's a lot of people I'm working with at the moment in that situation too. It's about obviously acknowledging that this is the situation, trying to work out, is this something from a practical point of view? Do I just need to go and get a job? Do I need to bring some money in? And that be a kind of, you know, an immediate plan? Or is this something that actually I can spend a bit longer, or also you could do the two things at once, spend a bit longer thinking about this, about what it is that I really want to do, and give yourself that kind of reevaluation time to think about your skills, your talents, your abilities, what it is that you really want to do, and what maybe did you fall into that job in the first place, or was it something that you always dreamed of and that's the ideal job that you want to go back into at another company? So maybe just taking some time out and just doing a bit of a kind of 360, perspective check, I would say. But for some people, there is that immediacy. I have to get another job because I need to pay the bills. And so you might have to do that as an interim thing before you get to your dream job, career, whatever.
Perfect. Okay. Well done. We've got a thumbs up from her, so thank you. And we've got a hello from Brisbane, Australia. Hello. Lovely to see you. Okay, so some people of my followers who are following me on this might be thinking, I thought you were the batch lady. This is about batch cooking. Where is this on? Now, the reason I thought this was quite good to do is, one, I'm mates with Laura and we know each other really well. And actually, also though, what this side of batch cooking is about for me, and I've been doing a bit more work behind the scenes about batching your life, and really it's about organizing your life and where it goes. And so a lot of what I spend my time doing is sort of showing people sort of time management, as you know, Laura, but just for anybody else who's watching, the time management is really the aspect of, looking at things and how you're doing things in life, and can you do them in a easier way that makes your life better. Because I think, especially for lots of us women out there, our brains are sort of like going like this. They say that men are quite compartmentalized, where we're like, ooh, I can be thinking about like that the dog needs walked, that I haven't cleaned the bathrooms today, that I haven't unpacked and I've got to go and collect Zara from school, all at the same time, as well as sort of other things going on. So I think it's really good that we have these sort of conversations as well, that of different ways that you can go. Right, I want to ask you another question. Right,
can I just dive in there, because there's something there that you just said that I think is really important to mention, is that with all that busyness and all that kind of, which obviously you help massively with people with kind of trying to get some order back and some, be able to kind of prioritize themselves. A lot of people, and a lot of my clients that I work with, they feel that if you put yourself first, that is selfish, and that that is something that they shouldn't be doing, and that's something probably that's come from the past and all the rest of it. So I would always challenge that, because trying to juggle all these things, a lot of people end up getting burnout because you just can't do everything. There's only so many hours in a day. So if you can reframe that as self-care, and that old phrase, put your own mask on first before you help others, that can sometimes help you be a better mum, a better businesswoman, a better business owner, whatever it is, a better dog owner. So it's about, I think sometimes that can be a real sticking point for people, is being able to prioritize some self-care time. And they sometimes, like I say, they just feel that is selfish. So once you get past that, then that can really help you with moving forwards. And like you said, all the kind of stuff that you'll teach people with the sort of batching side of things as well.
Actually, well, do you know what? That's actually a really good question. Let's put it out there to all you people that are watching. Self-care, do you do it? I mean, do you not? Do you have any self-care? Do you have no self-care? What was that, Laura?
I say, and how? What examples of self-care do people have?
Yeah. I mean, Laura sent me a list of questions through. She thought she might ask me, and one of them was about self-care, and we'll come on to that. And I struggled with that question. Let me tell you, I was like, oh, actually, I am not one to put myself first, ever. In fact, I would put even a stranger's needs before my own, because I'm just like that. I'm a people pleaser. I wish I wasn't sometimes, but I am. And so self-care can be really hard for people that are like that, because you don't put yourself first, and then you do end up a bit sad at times. So Fiona says, absolutely, because if we don't look after ourselves, we end up not being able to look after folk who depend on us. You're right, Fiona. You're absolutely right. And I think you're 100% right. Okay, can I ask you some quick questions before you ask me questions?
Go on then, go on.
Can I ask you, what motivates you to get out of bed in the morning?
What motivates me to get up? I love my job. I know that might sound really cheesy, but I really genuinely love it. And on top of that, I don't even know the Enneagram. I'm an Enneagram 3, so it's the achiever, and which means that I kind of already, first thing in the morning, I'm an early morning riser. I'm a dairy farmer's daughter as well, so maybe that helps. So I am
definitely.
awake, ping, 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 thoughts and everything. I mean, I crash and burn the other end of the day, but first thing in the morning, I'm on fire. So yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, you're just like me. I think farming life makes you, you know, we're all early risers, but don't get us after 10 p.m. because they've all gone to
No,
bed.
gone.
Okay, can you recommend a podcast, an app, or a book?
Yeah, well, of course. So yeah, I would say a podcast. So I'm a big fan. I really like Mary Hyatt. So she is a mindset coach. She does lots of other things too, but she has a podcast called Living Fully Alive. It has some really great stuff in there to help in lots of different areas of your life. So I really like that. An app, well, a bit of a cheat, YouTube.
Yeah, okay.
But I like doing, so there's yoga by Adrienne. I don't know if you ever come across her, but she's great at talking about the self-care stuff. And she has really, sometimes really quick yoga routines, but they're very specific. So if you say have your lower back's hurting or you're feeling a bit anxious or something, she'll have a yoga routine for that. So you can hone in on exactly what it is. So I really like that. A book, well, I love the Batch Lady book, obviously.
Of course, ladies.
Of course. I am also, some people might know, I'm a big Brené Brown fan. So I love Brené Brown. If you don't know anything about Brené Brown, look at the Netflix show because that kind of summarizes all of her work. But she has a book, Gifts of Imperfection, which was a game changer for me. And also Dare Greatly, lots of stuff. And she has TED Talks as well. So anything about Brené Brown. That'd be my recommendations.
Okay. Fab. Okay, I'm just going to quickly read some of these because we've had people coming in talking about self-care. Who have we got? Okay. Sarah, the lovely Sarah Hewson. Riding my horse is my self-care. Yeah, that's great. If you're in the country, that's a really nice, lovely one to do. I've got a good few friends where that is just their perfection. I always put the kids first and then the dog, so I don't have much time for myself. Emma Z1, I am with you on that. I do a lot of that. Deborah says, I'm the same, don't put myself first. Don't really know how. Yeah, okay, hold on. And then, hello from Sarah. And then Rosalind says, I look after others before myself, so don't have time for self-care. I think a lot of us feel like that we don't have much time for self-care. I certainly quite often feel like that. So my very last quick question before you ask me questions, how do you find time for self-care? Do you have to actually do what I tell people to do for batch cooking, which is to just set a little tiny bit of time aside in your diary and make sure you sort of use that time?
Yes. So you we only have a certain amount of hours in a day. Everybody has the same amount of hours. It is up to you how you spend that time. So it's, you know, it's a case of kind of prioritize, maybe take a bit of time out to do some planning because it'd be worth it in the end. So if you can schedule it in, and the first thing is that you've got to, in your head, be able to justify prioritizing self-care to the same extent that you do other things. So you need to really ask yourself, why is it important? Because if you don't believe it's important, you're not going to do it. It's the same with anything, you know?
Yeah.
So once you realize that it is really important to prioritize, even if it's 15 minutes a day, then put it in the diary and maybe put it on your phone as an alert, or you know, just like you probably wouldn't, you know, if you're having time out with a friend or your husband or something, you know, you would honor that time. So honor that time with yourself as well. So
Brilliant.
I think it's the belief thing that has to come in first. So yeah.
There you go, ladies, from the expert. So let's, I'm definitely, we'll come on to my sort of bit in a bit, but I am working on this because it is definitely not my strong point. So thank you, Laura. That's great.
No worries. Right, let's flip it round then.
Am I in the hot seat now?
You're in the hot seat now, yeah. So just tell us, Suzanne, then, how was the Batch Lady created?
Okay, so it was really simple. Mummies at the school gates kept saying to me, how do you always know what you're feeding your family? Because I live on a family farm and I feed the 5,000. And I can sometimes be feeding 2 people and I can sometimes be feeding 20 people. And sometimes I never know. Our farmhouse is the one that everybody sort of congregates to. although not at the moment because the government won't allow it. But generally, that's how it sort of happens. And so I had some mums at the school gate say to me, how do you manage to always be organised? And I am a really organised person, but also I studied time management at university. I went on to sort of coach slightly in time management when I was in London working professionally, and it's my passion. So yeah, I had 20 mums come to the kitchen. I showed them how to make 10 meals in an hour, and somebody said, oh my God, this is life-changing, put it on YouTube. And I put it on YouTube, and that was 3 years ago this month.
Wow.
And then it went from there.
Yeah,
I became the Batch Lady.
It's amazing story. And what's the best thing, what's the worst thing about being the Batch Lady?
Okay, best thing is it just rocks. I mean, ladies out there who are listening just now, you just mean the world to me, because I've got to meet the most amazing people, and I feel like I meet a lot of people now that I will never meet in real life, but I know you from, because they, you know, send me messages and there's lots of interactions, and so I've really met some great people, I have to say. It's fun. I own my own business. I am constantly sort of being asked to do different things. So this week I'm working with Mash Direct. I've got a big PR campaign coming out with Sainsbury's this week. There's some amazing things happening that I get to do. And I live, for most people that are watching this and they know, in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you know, I should not be doing all this amazing fun stuff. So that's the best. The worst is...
I'm going to challenge you there. You just said I should not be doing all this stuff.
I know.
That would be a good bit. If I was coaching, I'd be saying, should. Why should you not?
You're right. You're right.
Anyway, sorry.
So yeah, and worst things are, I really struggle to switch off because I work from home. So I really do struggle with that sort of switch off. I'm not in a 9-to-5 job, and there's constantly things coming in, and I'm replying to emails at 11 o'clock at night, and I stay up late and I get up early and all that sort of stuff. And I also, because I'm a people pleaser, like somebody else said here, is that I struggle to switch off and not please all the time, you know, and I sort of struggle with that. If somebody's unhappy with the recipe, then, you know, I want to sort it and make it right for them. And actually, Batch Lady is making me realise, though, that ladies out there who say that you don't know how to say no and it's hard for being a people pleaser, you can't please everybody all of the time. So I'm certainly going with that one.
I think you probably are a 2 on the Enneagram, by the way. Should look that up. A 2. Yeah, there's 9 different personality types, and I think you're a 2, which is the people pleaser.
Oh, really? Yeah, I know. I used to hate when people told me I was a people pleaser, but actually now I'm a people pleaser with a very thick skin, and I have learnt to say no. So I'm going with that.
Well done. Yes, it's good you've learned. So obviously with the kind of role that I do, often people think they need to have, and we talked about their career and their life plans all mapped out, ideally from a young age. So what advice would you give them?
I would say you really don't have to. In fact, it's way more fun to change as you go through your life. So in my 20s, early 20s, I was a uni student. Late 20s, I was working in London, and I was sort of like a career girl. Turned 30 and had my first child. 32, had my second, was a stay-at-home mum for a good bit of my 30s. 40s, I'm the Batch Lady. You know, who knows what I'll be doing at 50 or 60. I would say enjoy the ride and don't worry about it not being mapped out. And sometimes don't look for it. Sometimes things just naturally just jump in, and you can grab them as you go along.
Yeah, that is such good advice, because I think that, again, that you don't know what's around the corner, and sometimes just embracing that, who knows what opportunities are going to come up for you. So what Batch Lady tips could help people in other areas of their lives? Because you touched on that before, but have you got any advice for people?
Yeah, so basically what we touched on before, which is what the Batch Lady is really about, is about taking time to stop and almost look at, okay, how do I feed my family? What am I feeding them? What are the bits I don't like? You know, do I not like the fact that I'm spending £20 in the co-op every time I do the school run because I haven't sorted out what's for dinner? Do I hate the fact that my freezer's full, but I'm still doing a huge weekly shop because I haven't checked what's in the freezer? You know, so almost sort of looking at stuff like that. So that's really what the Batch Lady is about. And in terms of other aspects of life, it's a bit the same. You know, I used to be really stressed every morning because I constantly couldn't find my car keys or my phone. So I'd come in, throw them down somewhere, and then leaving early in the morning. We leave at 7:30 for the school run, and I'm running about like screaming, "Oh my God, I can't find the keys!" And I then stopped, thought about it, got a bowl, put it near the front door. When I come in, I put my keys in there. It's now a routine. Now I don't lose my keys. I also bought a little product called a tile that connects to your phone that tells you where your keys are. So all of a sudden, that probably took me 7 minutes of my life and has saved me 7 minutes pressured of my life every single morning. So I think if there's lots of things like that. So for example, if you spend a lot of time in the morning rushing about trying to find tights that match your dress to get out to work in the morning, if you can spend 10 minutes on a Sunday and put the tights beside the dress that you planned to wear on the Thursday, then when you wake up on Thursday, your life's a lot better. So that's really what I would say, is it's about stopping and thinking, what are the bits that aren't working and how can I really quickly tweak them and change them to work?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how, because you've taken your expertise and your skills in project management from the business world and then applied them to your actual life.
Yeah, because I'm a massive believer that actually what we're doing in terms of what all, you know, women out there, you lovely strong women, what we're doing in our non-work life is a full job, you know, and it's a job that no one talks about and nobody tells you always the correct way to do it or the easiest way to do it or the quickest way to do it. It's just sort of like if you started a job and it was and you arrived on your first day, you would be told you do this at this time, this at this time, this at this time, and this is how it works. Where we all get married and have kids and sort of get thrown into it, and then you're left to sort of like muddle your way through. And I think really it can be just like a job. I just think of it as a job, you know, me doing the ironing, the washing, the cleaning, feeding the kids, walking the dogs. It's all a job at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. So what advice would you, if you were to go back to young Suzanne, little Suzanne, what advice would you give your younger self?
Oh my God, I would give myself, I'd shake myself, right? And I'd say, 1, you're not fat. Wait until another 10 years. Because I spent my life thinking I was fat from about the age of 18 when I was like a size 10. And God, I wish I could go back and tell myself that I wasn't. I would also say, don't worry all the time. You know, what you're worrying about today is generally not a worry tomorrow. You know, all those little worries that can really get you down. Try not to worry as much about them, which is a really hard thing not to do, because I'm internally a real worrier. And I want to please all the time, and that can be exhausting. So I would say, you know, try not to do that, and just enjoy the ride. Because actually, somebody said to me not so long ago, you know, we all get to the same end game. You know, the same end game is pretty much that life is done. So just enjoy it as you're getting to it, you know, and try to enjoy all the sort of aspects of it. So, worry less, definitely. And enjoy it.
Yeah, brilliant. And I think that this can be a really good exercise for someone if they want to take a bit of time out, is to, what advice would you give your younger self? And then sometimes actually imagining yourself, your future self. So you're kind of, you know, 85-year-old self. What advice would you give to you now? So that can be a really nice kind of just exercise that you can do when you're trying to just take a step back. So actually,
that's a great one. Now, somebody said here, let me just go back, because where are you? Somebody said that they really struggle to say no. And actually, that's one. Yeah, here we go. Christine, you said, I'm a people pleaser too, and I can't say no, not sure how to change this. That's actually one of the things that I would go back and say to myself, is learn how to say no. If I look at some of the situations I've got myself into over the years, of things that I was then doing that I didn't want to do, it's because I didn't know how to say no and I wanted to please that person. But like last week, for example, something happened in my business world where I really thought, actually, you're pushing me to something that, you know, I don't want to do now. And I said no. And I was really worried about saying no, but I said no on this email and said, I'm really sorry, but that's not something that I can do. And they came back and went, yeah, well, ask somebody else. It meant nothing to them. It was massive to me. It would have taken me the pressure that of saying yes would have been 3 days worth of work that I would have then had to juggle kids and everything. And I said no, and they went, yeah, okay. So
yeah, absolutely. I think it's also that to ask that question to that whoever it was that asked them is like the why. So why do you struggle to say no? What are you most afraid of if you say no?
Yeah.
Dot.
And guys, that's why Laura is a life coach, because she is. Perfect.
So I've got another question for you then. What would your ideal life look like in 10 years' time?
My ideal life. Well, do you know, I'm going to say that I really don't know. And I'm glad I don't know, because I do like the way that life changes. Will I still be doing Batch Lady? Yes, hopefully, maybe in a different form. I think my ideal life is that my kids are, what will they be doing in 10 years' time? So Zara will be, oh my gosh, Zara will be 22 and Jake will be 24. So hopefully they're off enjoying life, doing whatever they're going to do. And I'm having more time with my husband, which would be nice, because we're at a stage at the moment where we're juggling, and he's juggling work and I'm juggling work, and we're like ships that pass in the night. And so spending more time with my husband. I hope that I'm still doing Batch Lady, and I hope it's a massive success, and I've got like people that work for me so that I can just relax. Wouldn't that be nice? Never going to happen, but wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, I'm sure it will happen. Sure it will happen. So yeah, I think, I mean, I don't know if there's any more questions coming in, but I was going to ask you for recommendations for your podcast app and a book. Any suggestions that you would have for any of those? Do you want to do that now?
Yeah, I wrote some down. Hold on. I'm really conscious that I look really orange compared to you.
Oh, you're not at all.
I was doing a photo shoot in London yesterday. I had to be really tanned up. So I'm like, fantastic. Okay, where did I write mine down? Because I had them here. Hold on. Okay, so I'd like to recommend a book.
Yes.
I'd like to recommend this book. So The Batch Lady, which you can get anywhere, and The Batch Lady Meal Planner, which you can also get anywhere, sort of Amazon, all the bookshops, all that sort of thing. Right, I'm going to recommend an app that actually just makes me really happy and I love, and it's called Shazam. It's a free app, if anybody knows it. If you like to sometimes listen to music and you happen to be in, say, a cafe and they're playing a nice song and it makes you feel really good and you think, oh, I love that, you press on the Shazam app and it listens to the music, it finds it and downloads it onto your music on your phone.
Love it.
And it creates playlists for you. And so if you're watching a film and there's like, you know, a nice sort of piece of music in it, you just press on the Shazam and it'll tell you exactly what that music is. So I love that.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah, my kids got me into that. So there you go. And in terms of a podcast, I would say for anybody out there who's maybe thinking about changing their life or starting their own business, I know a lot of people that follow me are sort of from the rural farming community as well, and maybe thinking, okay, I want to do something on my own. I would recommend How I Built This by Guy Ray. And it's a really famous podcast, but he interviews like the top people around the world who have all started their own business, and they tell you how they started it, what were the downfalls, what were the good bits that you would do from the very start. And I have listened to him for years, and I've really taken out tons of knowledge from it. And it's really interesting as well, you know, how did Mr. Dyson start building Hoovers? Where did he come from? And you know, where all these products that we all use every day that we don't think where they came from. And it's really interesting to hear other people's stories about how they came up with them, how they came up with their ideas.
That's brilliant. I'm going to make a note of that. Maybe actually we do some links to the things that we recommended as well. That might be helpful if people want to find them later. Yeah,
guys. So we're going to link all of this, and Laura's going to link it because I don't know how to do it. So watch this space for Laura. Guys, has anybody got any questions? Because we're getting near the end. So if there's any questions, then pop them up if you want to ask us anything.
I can see here that Sarah, I know this, Sarah Conley, she's a lingerie stylist, amazing. She says, make feeling good a priority. That's my daily mantra. I love that, Sarah. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, look, and Emma said she'd love the links. Go, Laura. Laura will put them up for you, no problem. Yeah, I think do you know, I'm in a really good space at the moment of just really lovely things happening, and I'd love to tell you more about what's going on, but I'm not allowed to at the moment. But there are lots coming out which I can't wait to tell everybody about in terms of Batch Lady. But I have been in slumps where I don't know where it's going, and that's where having a friend like Laura is great, because I guess like sort of freebie. Oh, on that, sorry, we're doing a competition. People who are listening, we're doing a competition. You can win 1 whole hour of life coaching from Laura and a signed copy of my book. Okay, all you need to do is, Laura, I'll tell you the details. Laura?
I will. Well, I'll tell you what, we're putting it out on Friday, and there'll be details in there. But when the post comes out Friday, you just need to, let me see this, follow us both, tag someone else in it, and there's something else, a third instruction. It's in the Instagram.
Yeah. So
but,
watch out for it on Friday, guys, and make sure, because 60 minutes worth of life coaching is amazing. I mean, I've got the lovely Laura, who I'm friends with, and I've got friends with another friend called Lucy, and they're both life coaches. So I never need one. I just phone up and pretend I'm phoning for a chat to see how they are, and then ask them lots of questions. So I can definitely recommend, though, that it's a good thing to do if you're maybe, if you could do with some direction in your life. So, yes.
Brilliant.
Yes, has this been recorded as I'm running late, says Carrie. Yeah, no problem, Carrie. We're going to record this and put it onto IGTV.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
You can watch it anytime.
Should we finish up with the describing yourself in 3 words?
Oh, yeah. Okay, my 3 words are, I'm a worrier. As I've told everybody, I worry constantly about everything. I mean, literally everything. I even worry about other people being worried. I worry about everybody else's worries as well. So worrier, I would say I'm driven, very, very driven, and organised. Has to be.
Of course you are. Of course you are. You're a batch lady.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm quite proud of that, to be organised. So, yeah, I would say that's my 3.
That's
right.
Okay,
it's
somebody's asked what's your Instagram, Laura. So I'm just at Laura Ogilvie-Jones. So it's Laura Ogilvie, Ogilviejones. But I will, you'll probably link me in anyway. So
yeah, we'll add a link as well. It's late here in Oz, so night night, ladies. Night night, Christine. Thank you so much for coming in from Oz. Okay, Laura, that has been fantastic. I think it's been such a nice to chat to you, to find out about your business, to see what other ladies are thinking out there. Guys, if you like this, let us know. We could always do another one on a similar sort of vein, so let us know if you enjoyed it. I am now going to try to, like Carrie did last week, to save this onto IGTV so anybody can watch it at any time. Laura, thank you so much. You've been fantastic.
No worries. It's been so nice to see you. Thanks, Suzanne.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.